Good morning. I'm Cindy and I'm with Elevita Designs. And if you've been following this series, this is where we left off. And all we have left to do today is to paint the squares, paint the lettering, and this is done. So let's go ahead and get started. I know I want one square to be blue. And I want to place this particular piece on that square. I'm going to do one purple and place this on there. As for these, not quite sure. So I'm going to be winging it. So let's get a couple squares out here and get cracking. The reason why I want the palm tree on a blue square is because I kind of want to represent the sky. So I'm undecided between crystal blue, which is kind of like a blue-green, or this whispering turquoise. So I'm going to start off, I think, with the whispering turquoise, and then the shading color is moody blue, which to me seems awful dark. I think if I had a choice, it'd probably be just regular turquoise. So we will see. Like I said, I'm kind of winging it because I'm not really sure what colors I want. I am going to go and do the multicolored lettering again. This looks like a nice color for the lettering. Yeah, this will make a nice sky color, I think. Now, next week, if my schedule will allow it, I will be coming on and doing a 4th of July design for my interchangeable bench. And it's going to be adorable and very unique. Some of the elements is going to be unique. Yes, I'll have the Uncle Sam, but the one element is going to be pretty nice. And then I need to wrap up. I'm doing a 4th of July insert for my window as well. And I really like the interchangeable window. There's a little hair there. What I like about it is you can put the characters behind the window or in front of the window. And when you have them behind the window, it actually gives the illusion as though they're looking out at something that is on the window sill. So I did that intentionally when I came up with this design. And there are other interchangeable windows. Mine's just a little bit larger and a little bit different. And everything I design is geared to people who have a smaller laser, like a glow forge. You know, it will fit in their machine. I know I have a smaller desktop laser. I have an Tech Polar. I just got it a year or so ago. And I didn't want a big laser. Maybe that's something I'll go towards in the future, but as of right now, no. Because I'm able to have that laser I have now in my craft room. Where the other one I would have to put out in the garage. And yes, my garage is heated, but you know, you have to lug a computer down there. And yes, I do have the internet out there, but it just seems like a whole lot of extra work. So, and I could put it in my house. I have a spare room, but I don't. But I just don't know if I want to be. I don't know if I want to do that. I have an old farmhouse. And my decor is pretty primitive, Americana, rustic, farmhouse. Those are all styles of decor. And that's pretty much what my house is. Decorated. That's pretty bright. Pretty bright. But I think it'll look nice. Yeah, that pops off of there. And we'll let that dry. I will be shading around that as well. I know I want one purple. So I'm gonna do the purple petal. I think that would be good for the sandcastle. And, you know, you don't have to make all these squares multiple colors. A lot of times I'll just stick with 2 colors and alternate those squares. So it has to be a personal preference. Yeah, I don't know where I'm getting a fuzzy from. And I think probably what I'll do with the lettering, now this lettering is all kind of intertwined. It's not separated like the summer part of the sign. But I really like that multiple colors, so I'm going to try and do that. I might go back, because these are all connected, maybe put some score lines to separate the letters. I think I might do that. That way it would be easier for you to paint. My piece is not going to have that. This kind of was like an afterthought. And with me painting these kind of tell me like, all right, well, I need to change this on the file or add this or, you know, so this kind of tests me. And we'll go around and shade the outside edge like we did the other squares. I just think it gives it a nicer look. I'm gonna need to clean my hands off for sure before I continue on. I am out of wet wipes. I need to get those. So I might be taking a break earlier than normal. I didn't realize I was on my last one. So this is designed to go pretty much across the bottom. You can put it up just a titch, and that's probably what I'll do. And then, of course, you know, the sun will be there. But I think that's probably a good color for that. Kind of wish I would have went with the Hauser greens. For that palm tree, but what's done is done. So if I had to do it again, that's the choice I would have made. And I think this is probably a good color for this. And now I just gotta figure out the others. Even this might look good on here. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe even doing yellow, even though I already have a yellow square. All right. So for the Whispering Turquoise, I'm actually going to use turquoise. They recommend peacock teal, which I personally think is a little bit too dark. So I'm going to go with turquoise first and see exactly what that does. And I could be changing it. Something I've learned when it comes to paints, just because how you see it in the bottle is how it's going to go on the surface. That's not always true. I will definitely have to get me some wet wipes, because when I shade like this, I get it all over my fingers. This is probably going to be very minimal shading color. And what I like to do, because this is still wet, I always like to go down one side, then go over to the opposite side, excuse me, and hit that. And then I like to let it dry completely, because if I was to go right now and try and shade on this side, I would be taking away this paint. And I see where I kind of missed a little bit, so I'm going to need to hit this. And I kind of just pat at my surface and then do a long stroke. You see, I missed a little bit there as well. And it's what it's from is that's usually where my fingers are. I've got way too much water on there. So if you have a tendency to use too much water like I do, and this brush sheds worse than my cat's, just get yourself a mop brush. That thing's horrible. And mop up the edges. And that will get rid of that line. And if it doesn't, you don't get to it in time, and you end up with a line, don't worry about it. All you have to do is go back over it with some paint. It's pretty easy. I don't know if I use this color here, the crystal blue. If that will be enough variance for this. I just don't know. So let's try it. It's not going to hurt anything. This is kind of like a light blue green. This is a pretty color. And it's going to be pretty close to that one surfboard as far as color goes. So to repeat what the colors are for this particular square, I just have a fuzzy that I can't get rid of. I'm gonna have to hit that again because of that. I used Whispering Turquoise for the base color, and then I came back and I shaded with regular turquoise. They recommended Moody Blue, which is this color right here, and I just wasn't seeing that. This color here is Purple Petal. The purple is Purple Petal, and this is Crystal Blue. Even the beach ball might look good on here. And when it comes to getting yourself a mop brush, get yourself a good quality one. That first one I used, all these little hairs I'm finding is coming from that. So get a good mop brush, or you'll be frustrated using it because it sheds. And we'll see how this dries. I might have to go back over it again. But that might look good on there. I just don't know if I like that blue color, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. I might change it because I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. So you know what? Let's change it. I'm gonna change it to Shoreline. It's probably gonna take a few coats, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know why. I'll have to paint that white spot over again, because I'm sure when I go to shade, I'll get up in there. See, just by changing that, good morning, and I'll need to do another coat. It just kind of gives it a totally different look. So my thought is this, and that blends way too much. Don't you think? It doesn't stand out. Even if I think I was too shaded. So I think I'll do bubblegum pink and stick with this for this. I think that's what I'll do. I don't know. Let's try and get another coat on here. Maybe I'll need to do the sandcastle on that and change the one flag color, that green one, to purple. And that might be another choice. I mean, that looks pretty good on there. So that's another option because that does blend in pretty good. So because I think I want the other color to be pink. And I think I want it to be the poodle skirt pink. Possibly even baby pink. And this might look good on pink. So there's only one thing I know I'm for sure about, and that's where the palm tree is going. All right. So crystal blue. Is the peacock teal. That's pretty bright. Hello. I know I want to put this on sparingly, I think. Very sparingly and blend it pretty darn good. Because it is, it's bright. It's very bright. It's a beautiful color. Absolutely a gorgeous color. I absolutely love that color. And we'll shade this purple with some lavender. And see, and just by adding that shading to these squares, just changes things. It just changes the look. And I know before I paint the lettering, hello, I will need to change my water. Definitely have to get a new thing of wet wipes. Bring it up. So let's just kind of see where we're at here. I need to make a decision what I want that last square to be and stick with it and live with the results. I still need to shade this. I'm kind of thinking that might be good on that. I don't know. Kind of looks good on the purple as well, even though there's a big section. I would just have to change that. All right, let me shade this particular section, and I'm going to do desert turquoise, even though it says regular turquoise. I'm going to do the desert because I just know from past experience it's not dark enough. So I'm just going to blend it really well and water it down. And try my best not to get it on that white spot. All right, not too bad. And I think I will do the baby pink on the other square. Let that dry really good. Then I'll go back and hit it. Something you could do, you could actually use lighter colors to go around these edges instead of dark colors. That's another option. I've never done that, but I think that's something I'll try in the future. So I want to say good luck to Kent today. I don't know. I can't see you pulling it off, but you never know. Unfortunately, I will not be watching the game because it doesn't come on till 9 o'clock. And when you get up at 3 in the morning to go to work, 9 o'clock is late. Probably shouldn't have done that, but hopefully I can fill it in with some paint. And something's gonna go over top of it anyhow and cover it, but I use all Baltic birch plywood. Alright, let that dry for a second, and hit this other side. No, I'm gonna hit this actually again. I like to use a Q-tip to remove my paint. I have a container of them on my painting table, and they work fabulous. I'm just gonna see if I can tilt my brush enough to avoid that area. Alright, good enough. See how we are in this pink. I think I could use one more coat. I'm not sure what the shading color is on this. I'll have to look it up. Something tells me it's that royal fuchsia. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, even putting this on there might be okay. Mm. I mean, that's not a bad combination either. But then if I went with this, I think that still blends in. I mean, it ain't too bad. Alright, it's a baby pink. Yeah, royal fuchsia. I knew it. Can't catch a break. So here's today's question of the day. When it comes to painting and paint colors, is there a particular color that you just absolutely do not like and you try to avoid at all costs because you don't like it? If so, leave a comment, whether it be here on Facebook after you watch the video or on YouTube. I would love to hear what you have to say. Now that pops off there pretty darn good. And I think I like that. And part of me is just, I don't know. I think this is what we're looking at. And I have two brights and kind of mediocre here. I just feel that that gets lost. I think that Laguna is too dark. So, I think I have my decision. I just have to get shade around that pink. And I'm gonna do the royal fuchsia. I'm gonna succumb to it. Get one more coat on here. I'm really gonna try and blend this. Now see, that's not too bad. That I can live with. The other times, eh. And I see that I did not get that one area. Missed it completely. Yeah, that's not too bad. That I can live with. Alright, hopefully this is dry enough. And by going over it numerous times like I just did, that kind of helps lighten it and blend it even more. Even though I'm blending it on my paper palette. But see how dark that starts off as? But as I keep going over it, it kind of lightens that. I have a little bit of a watermark there, so I'm going to just take a little bit of the baby pink and just take a brush and kind of just tap at it to get rid of it, and that'll fade. Unless my brush was not clean. We'll see how that works. And see how that's, as it's drying, it's actually starting to fade into the paint. I mean, pretty soon you won't be able to see that. You want to watch how far you go over. You know, I use a bigger brush. Now, if you'd have used a smaller brush, your waterline would have been really close to that darkness. And so you probably wouldn't be able to cover it up. But I always like to use the widest brush that I can possibly use to shade these edges. And then I also, too, like to use a flat brush. But see, that's starting to fade in there. I might have to go back and maybe hit it with a little bit more royal fuchsia, try and blend it a little bit. We'll see. And I think that's what I'll do. Because I think what happened too is I did not have my brush cleaned enough. So I'll just hit that side again, opposite, so that way it doesn't look out of place. And that's why I like to use, these actually used to be really good brushes. But by floating highlighting on these edges the way I have, they've ruined them. So I recommend a cruddy flat brush. That's just my recommendation. All right. Let's try and do some gluing. So we know we want this like this. I think I had it. I'm gonna put some white on. Just another coat. I can see color under there. I think white is one of the hardest colors to base coat with. And definitely, if you're trying to cover up something with white, yeah, it's pretty tough. All right. It's not going to take too much glue. Just try and get them centered. Yeah, I wish I would have used a brighter green, but what's done is done. And you don't have to put the sun on there at all. I just think it kind of brightens it up a little bit. Kind of gives the illusion that you're at the beach. Oh, I lucked out there. Okay, so this is kind of where we are. Now we have just the top part to paint with the lettering, and this is good to go. So I'm going to empty my water. I need to get some more wet wipes, and I will be back. So hopefully you stick around. Okay, so this is where we left off. These are all glued on and in place, and I absolutely love the brightness. I love the colors, and it just screams the beach. So, let's stick these aside. Go ahead and put them in my sign. And this is where we are so far. All we have to do is finish the top and we're good to go. So I'm liking it. Very beachy. So let's go ahead and paint this lettering. And this is what I'm talking about, how it's attached. And I'll probably go back and put score lines on. We'll see how easy it is to paint. Not doing like that. We'll see how it is. And then also too, you can paint this all one color. I personally, like I said, I think I want to mix it up. So I'm gonna start with purple petal. I'm gonna paint that bee. And I'm gonna use a brush just because these are all tied together. And when using a brush, to avoid getting on the sides, and I probably still will, but to help, I'll rephrase this, to help avoid getting it on the sides, lift up your brush as you're approaching the edge, and that'll help. And I'm going to do like I did last time and dry brush shading and highlighting on here and give it an ombre effect. That's too much paint. Hello. And the next color I'm going to use is Shoreline. I'm kind of just going straight down that E to kind of give the illusion a little bit that it's in front of the B. And by painting with the brush, I feel that I have a little bit more control as to where the paint is going to go instead of using a sponge. Just my personal opinion. And if I have to go back and hit these again after they dry, I will. Definitely that blue, I will have to. The next color I'm going to use is Bubblegum Pink. Honestly, it's not too hard painting without score lines, so I don't know if I'll put those on. I don't think it's really necessary. I think if you use a brush and you take your time, you'll get pretty good results. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is a color called Sea Breeze. That's kind of that bright bluish green, more green than blue. But as you can see, these letters just kind of look boring. With no highlighting and shading on them. So I think you want to do a little something to them. And then I got over a little bit too far. I'll have to go back and hit that with some pink. Hopefully it'll cover it up. The next color I'm going to use is Banana Cream, and I know that takes a lot of coats. And because that is a single letter, I think I'll just move it up and I'll use a sponge on this particular piece. That's too much paint. And the next color I'm going to use is Coral Shell. I just feel you get better coverage with a brush than you do a sponge. So I'm just going to go over this with my brush. Especially when doing wood, you know, because you got the grain. Where you don't get that with MDF, but I just, I don't care for MDF. I know it's really popular, but I don't care for it. I mean, I don't know if you treated it, how, you know, it holds up outside. But what I know, just from personal experience, and this is just me, I think it's harder to shade and highlight on. So I don't care for it. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is Bahama Blue. Then I'm going to use that Whispering Turquoise, and hopefully there is enough variance, because if not, then I'm going to have to change. Colors, and I don't know what I would change it to right offhand. Too much paint. Slopping it on. Doing it early. Might have to do like, I'll put it on first and see. I'm kind of feeling it's not going to make much of a difference. So I might need to rethink that. Well, we'll try it, but something's telling me I don't think it's going to work, but we'll see. just slop it on the paint. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to cover this all the way up. That way, if I put another coat on of a different color, it'll be kind of uniform. I don't like that. I don't like that. So, let me find another color. Oh. I don't know about that either. Part of me wants to do that royal fuchsia. Yikes. All right. I'm going to do the baby pink. That's gonna need about 20 coats. Maybe 30. I don't know. Alright, while that's drying, let's try and do some dry brushing. I'm going to use lavender. And I'm going up a lot higher than I did the last time. See, I'm really pushing down into my paper towel. But when I come to my surface, I'm touching oh so lightly. But I'm really trying to build up the color on the bottom. And then as I move up, have less color. And you really want to clean your brush out. And then have just another napkin so you can try and dry it out. Because you want a dry brush when you're applying this color. Yeah, this is going to take a couple coats. You can definitely still see that glue behind it. Hello. Okay. Okay. Shoreline is the turquoise. And I'm going to use desert turquoise. Because it's just not dark enough. but I'm going to apply it sparingly. I mean, I hardly have any paint on my brush, and I'm okay with it. It might take me longer to do things. You can always add, but you can't take away. So I rather have the option of being able to go back. And then something you can do too is, and I might still do it, I don't know. Float color, like at the very bottom of each of these letters, just to make them a little bit more solid. Try just a little bit more. Let's try, hopefully you can get, it only takes one more coat of this pink. I can still see that blue, just a little bit. And that orange, that needs hit again. It's not looking good. I am an overachiever with the paint today. So just for giggles, I'm gonna try it real quick. I'm gonna see. If it was just to go around the very bottom. Kind of brightens it up a little bit. All right. Royal Fuchsia. My favorite color. Like I've said in the past videos, if you've been watching, dry brushing to me is just a delicate way of applying color. And I think, Royal Fuchsias for this as well. So, why not? I'm calling this paint good. I mean, that's a little bit brighter than what I would really like for that particular color, but it is what it is. Okay, sea breeze. I think sea breeze. Is that peacock teal? It's bluegrass green. And we know this is bright. See, even though I really wiped that out, my brush still might be damp or something too. I don't know. It just came off there. I'm going to go up a little bit further on that C. And let's see. I might not have dried out my brush enough, and you really have to dry out your brush. I mean, really, really press hard and dry it out. So, all right. Antique gold. For the banana cream. And I know this is a bright color. Alright, coral blush. And when it comes to dry brushing, you just have to decide for yourself how high up you want it to end up going and how much color you actually want. I think it's a personal preference. But it definitely needs something on top. I actually think I need to touch up the sea. All right. Desert turquoise for the Bahama blue. And that wraps this up, at least the shading part. I did not do a good job of getting this paint off my brush. So I'm getting spots that I don't like. Good enough. Something I'm actually thinking about doing is actually highlighting this outside edge. That's what I'm really thinking about doing. I'm thinking that might really kind of change the look. I got so many beans out of it. Let me just take a few minutes to put these away and clean up a little bit. Okay. So let me try what I'm saying and see. He's going down the side, and then I might go back over the top as well. But I think if I just go so far down, and I used wisteria for my purple, because I'm not going to dry brush. I'll be here to Christmas. But I think if I just kind of go down the side and go at an angle, it kind of highlights that one side. And I may go back and go on the top, but as of right now, we'll see how this goes. I don't know where my little helper went. I'm going to use Spa Blue on the shoreline. Pink chiffon and bubblegum pink, and that's not the recommended color, but that's what I like to use. And I'll use that on here as well. Oh, the struggle is real today. Just kind of, it's creating a different type of look, I feel, for the lettering. Don't be afraid to keep going back over things to get the result that you want. I just know I want those corners just a little bit brighter and lighter. That probably needs it again, but all right, for the sea breeze, it's cool white. I'm gonna watch because I think that could be a little bit too much. And I'm actually going to use that on the yellow as well. The banana cream, even though I know that's not the recommended color. But we're starting to get a different type of look here, and I like it. Okay, the next color is going to be, I'm going to go over this one corner just a titch more. Over this wisteria. I mean, even the cool white might be a nice color for that purple petal because the wisteria is not the recommended color. almost done. How long have I been on? Way longer than I wanted to. All right, white peach for the coral shell. And then bleach sand for the Bahama blue. And we're good. And I like the bleach sand on Bahama blue. Even when I first saw that, I was like, I don't think so. But once again, DecoArt is spot on with their recommendations. I mean, they are just spot on. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and hit the top of it. You know, I'm gonna hit that purple with some cool white because I'm not liking it. And I'm gonna hit the shoreline with some white as well. Because I just want these lighter and I'm not getting what I want. So technically I should have probably just used white for everything. I'm not getting what I want there either. And you know what? Seems like everything's pretty light except for the bleach sand. So I'm going white. The cool white. Now everything looks uniform. And I think I'm gonna call this good. And we're gonna glue this, and that's that. And this sign insert is done. Let that dry. I like to put my paints away as I finish up while I'm allowing things to dry. Reason why I do that is I like a clean area when I start working. And I have several totes out here, but I have certain colors in the tote because I know what colors I use for, like I have all my bright colors that I'm going to use for my beach stuff and summer stuff in one tote. The stuff that I use all the time is in another tote. I just like to be pretty well organized. And then that way I pretty much know where my stuff is. I always like to try and get my paints out that I know. I know what colors I kind of want to use before I come live. Sometimes, you know, I do make my changes. But I like to have them out because you guys don't want to sit there and hear me go through and looking for paints. So I try and be considerate of who may be watching live or after the fact. I mean, I do take my breaks to empty my water, but you can't pause live streaming like you can recording video. That's too much glue. That's gonna be slip sliding away. Paul Simon song. Never really a big Simon and Garfunkel band. I didn't care for that. I'd have to say my favorite bands is Bon Jovi with Richie Sambora. Nothing with the current guitarist, but Richie Sambora, yeah, he can play. Journey. Matter of fact, that was the first concert I ever saw. And AC/DC. Hello. I like all kinds of music. A day without music, my world would stop moving and grooving. That's my philosophy. I listen to music every day. All right, so let's put this in the top and see what we got. And I think this is pretty cute. So this is what we're looking at. I don't know if I can, whoop. That's all the further I can zoom out. So that's where we're at. I like it. You'll have to let me know what you think. Please leave your comments down below, or once I post this. So, thank you for stopping in and watching, and if you're going to watch after the fact, type in hashtag replay. If you're watching it after the fact on Facebook, if you're going to watch it on YouTube, you know, like the video. Share it with your friends and fellow crafters. Subscribe if you haven't. I would love to get some more subscribers. And I think I might run a sale today and today only. Probably for my SVGs. So, Until then, take care. Bye-bye.